Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Awaken the World. We are live right now. It is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 23rd day of the 11th month of, oh my God, 2020. Tonight, relationships, a higher perspective. And of course, I am here. Hello there. And since Louisa is on first, I see her right away. Hello, Louisa. So nice to see you this evening too, or at least, see your icon and your text. So, as always, let me express my undying love for each and every one of you. And really, that's going to be kind of the focus of what we're going to be talking about tonight when we're talking about relationships. And I know a lot of people have a long way to go with this. And it's really okay. It truly, truly is. So we're going to cover things off this evening and try to make some sense of it and really talk about the only thing that you can truly deal with, and that is yourself. Okay? But as always, it's important that you know that I love you just as you are, without you to be anything else except what you are right now. Whatever you are right now is perfect, and it's okay. And you are perfect in this moment. I've always say, perfection is ever evolving. It is not static. So your perfection continues to evolve and grow, as do you in your own perfection. Some things appear not entirely perfect, of course, and one of those things would be relationships, especially familial relationships, doubly especially in the holidays, in the holiday season. Times that by three, because we're in the midst of a pandemic that a lot of people didn't understand that this was going to be the beginning of the worst of it. And it is only going to get worse the closer we get to Christmas, okay? That's the reality of things. And that too is offering us a lot. But we're not here to talk about that tonight. So you can imagine this logarithmic jump, from family, okay? And now we're going to multiply that by holidays, and we're going to multiply that by COVID. And all of a sudden, it can be a lot of trouble. So first we need to understand, the basic fundamental reality of relationships, okay? And we live in a world where, as a matter of fact, a universe where everything only through relationship does anything have an opportunity to know itself. It is always through the relationship. Hot knows itself through the relationship it has with cold. Up knows itself through the relationship it has with down. These are fundamental underlying factors that are part of physicality, part of this physical universe. They are undeniable. They cannot be changed. That doesn't always mean that when you're looking at another person, you're looking at a clear mirror, and we're going to talk about that. So when we look at relationship, what we really see is we're talking about relation. In other words, not a comparison, but an understanding through the ability to view something outside of itself, even though that's only an illusion. It's a very powerful illusion and a very useful illusion. And then we have the ship, the idea that there's a journey being taken, a traveling of together. Now, this is probably the first place we should begin. As always with human ego wants nothing to change. As soon as it thinks that there's something good in its life, and it doesn't have to really be good, it can even just be familiar. and it doesn't want it to change. And of course, life is about change. And the thing about relationships is oftentimes, just like getting on a cruise ship, although you're not going to be doing that right now, there's a beginning to the journey and there's an open sea, and then there's an end to the journey. Not all relationships, not all relations are meant to last forever. They are meant to serve a purpose. And when that purpose has exhausted, when the opportunity for both within the relationship to grow has exhausted itself, there will come a time when life in the form of Shiva will break apart the underlying foundation of that relationship. Now, in a more enlightened relationship, the two people will simply recognize that, and there will be no amenity at all. It will be very amenable instead, and they'll still remain good, close friends and be there for each other in times of need. But of course, most people aren't that mature yet. And egoically, they fight, scrabble, and scream to hold on to something that they know is over. Or try to hide behind the mask of everything being okay, even though within the house it's definitely over. These are the games that people will play with themselves in order to try to hold on to something. But what we're really talking about when it comes to this sort of thing, when it comes, especially with family, that we always forget that to truly love another is to accept them as they are. That doesn't mean judging them as what they should or should not be. That doesn't mean judging them on what you feel they should or should not be doing. Each and every person, including the members of your family, are on a journey. And even though that journey is part of the whole, it is their personal journey. They have free will as well. They have the free will to make whatever decisions they make, even if you see that those decisions are causing strife or concern. It is your choice to participate in it or not. Loving someone fully, loving family members fully, doesn't mean you can necessarily spend time with them. A lot of times it means you have to pick and choose the time you spend with them. And a lot of times it means you don't spend the time with them because you understand how it can draw on your own energy levels. If it's drawing on you to be with your family, what that's really pointing to is your own resistance to allowing them their full free will. You're still judging some aspect of them. And remember, it's coming through you. So you have to look deeply within you regarding this. Now, even deeper still, we come to the issue that's at the heart of it for many people, where family gets together and they literally go to war with each other. You want peace, but that other person, that other family member, they don't want peace. They want to create conflict. If you can truly love them openly and fully, you will recognize right away that their actions are the only way that they can cry out for help. A lot of people will cry out for help and not even be fully aware that that's what they're doing. And a lot of times those people will not accept help. But you always have a choice how to respond, whether you choose to engage or not. A lot of times that family member who is trying to bring about conflict and is trying to stir the pot and create separation, the level that they are suffering at behind the mask they're wearing to look at them deeply and simply smile and say, you know, I love you just the way you are. That can literally do wonders sometimes. If you choose to spend time with family members who behave that way, it is not your place to try and reform them. A lot of times they're in such a state that to bring those sort of things up at all would simply cause them to pop, to increase the level of conflict, because they both want help and don't want that mask to drop for anyone to see that they need help. And they fight between those two lines within themselves all the time. Allow yourself to develop compassion for those family members and realize that even if you can't look at them and say, I love you just as you are, you could also say, I'm here if you need me. But most importantly, for yourself, you must look upon that other family member as part of yourself and understand that whatever's happening with them, it is causing the behavior. It isn't personal. And it may impact others, and you may observe that it does impact other members in the family in those circumstances. Perhaps you're all together for a meal, and you recognize that that one family member's behavior is impacting others. Those others have their own free will. It's your judgments that will get you into trouble. If you sit there and judge that that person shouldn't be lowering the vibration for these other people, you're participating in that. You've allowed your vibration to become lowered. Why? Because you started to judge. You can be the silent light of stillness in the midst of your family fighting around you, and that will wash over you with no effect. You can radiate the love and light that you are as freely as possible. The programming runs so deep. You've been programmed to believe so many things, that there are ways that people should and should not behave, that family means certain things and doesn't mean other things. Look around you. So many families are at war with each other. This war is the same war that goes on within the one person. The same egoic battle between mind or ego and heart or spirit, except spirit doesn't battle. Only ego fights up against everything. Don't allow yourself to fight up against anything, especially another in a relationship. Be the change you wish to see in the world is always the answer. Allow your light to shine. And when you recognize and come to understand that the place you are at, your light is not able to shine quite fully yet because you still have your own work to do, take those engagements with your family as the rough teachers that they are, and have gratitude for them and love for them, and see the value in those lessons. You know, Eckhart Tolle always said, if you want to test your state of enlightenment, go spend a weekend with your parents or your family members. Right? This is very, very true. We tend to think for some reason that because they're family, that they deserve to be somehow treated differently than anyone else around us, where of course the golden rule is, how do you wish to be treated? Do you wish your own free will to be held sacrosanct by others? Impart that upon them too. Do not interfere with their free will. Certainly, be that eternal farmer and sow your seeds. But as that eternal farmer, do not worry whether they land on fertile ground or not. That's beyond your control. They are having their journey. They are on their path. The only thing you need do to assist them on their journey is to be willing to fully love them and let go of judgment. It doesn't mean you don't speak your truth as compassionately and lovingly as you possibly can in the given situation. Certainly, that is a big part of your creativeness. But do not harbor thoughts against another family member as you sit there and smile across the table at them, because you've become them in that process fully. You've become the thing that you're judging. And that's the problem with judgment. When we judge, we tend to become the thing based around our judgments. Don't allow this to happen with your family members. And when you're in a situation where your level of consciousness has risen and theirs stubbornly seems to not be willing to, understand that that's okay too. And that maybe the engagement with your family ends to a degree at that point. And of course, it never, ever ends. The attachment can never be removed. We are all intertwined for all eternity. And in truth, the idea of the all is part of that illusion. It is all one glorious one, and we will always know each other and always care for each other. But in this play we would call life, in the roles that we take on, in the actors and actresses that we choose to be, we're not always meant to stay with one group of people for any length of time. That may or may not happen. Don't judge it. Be grateful for every experience, even the ones that you would tend to judge. For those are your best teachers. Those are pointing to you at the same time they're revealing what's happening in another. Where two or one are gathered in my name. That's part of relationships too. Of course, my name is I am. So where two people gathered together in relationship, both steady and firm and aware in their own rising consciousness and fully aware of the I am, the capital I am, the truth of what and who they are, those two people can enter into relationship, take a journey together, and experience exponential conscious growth and a rise in vibration and energy. Why? Because the two of them together, already full, already complete, already whole, their energy logarithmically increases. There's no attempting to pull energy from another. No more attempting to be more or less than anymore. You are beyond that in the relationship. You as an individual, as an individualized part of that creation, have the same strength and knowledge and wisdom of Christ within you. The same compassion and caring and drive of Gandhi, the same steadfastness, the same love, the same compassion of Buddha. You have all of that within you. And you can choose to be that in any relationship. You can choose love in any moment. Love isn't judging. Love isn't worrying about how the other person is behaving. Love is simply accepting them as they are right now and loving them fully. Recognizing that where they are is transient. They're not going to be there forever. Offering your words out of love when you can. Speaking your truth out of love when you're able. And most importantly, knowing when you have to remove yourself from the situation because it's causing you too much harm. You know, realistically, when you think about what true spirituality and awareness does, is it circumnavigates all the pain and the running around the bush and all the suffering that goes into these sort of issues between two people or between family members or whatever the case may be. And because this is all about ego, we can take those same situations and understand, well, we wonder why there's still war in the world when you can't even get along with your own family. And you can't get along with your own family because most people can't get along with themselves. This is all part of the dysfunction that ego becomes when it's left unchecked. And that dysfunction can only grow. But you have an opportunity in this moment to be that calming presence, to be that Christ, to be that Buddha, to look upon those around you as your brothers and sisters in the light of all creation, your entire family. You've been taught the idea that your family is only this little tiny group. Your family is every being on this planet and every being in all of creation. Every tree, every plant, every animal, every alien, all of it. All of it. And the power lies with you, as always, to choose. But be willing to see when Shiva appears to be destroying a relationship, that destruction is compassionate, that it is putting to an end a continued level of suffering that need no longer occur, and opening new doors and new windows where those new choices can be made and growth can occur again. Even though a relationship is about two or more than two, it has nothing to do with two or more than two. All of creation is only looking at you. It doesn't matter what's going on. And asking you, what do you choose? What do you choose to be in this moment? You are this all-powerful being. What do you choose right now in this situation? At the same time that all of creation is also looking at that other, that perceived other in that relationship or in that situation and saying the same thing to them. What do you choose? But never at any time does creation say, well, I understand why you chose that because, this person chose that. It's never about that. You're the one with all the power. You are the creator of your existence. Your existence is independent from everyone else's existence and yet dependent upon everyone else's existence. And we all have to get there together. It appears that there's many of us, but in fact, those many are part of one consciousness that we would call the consciousness of humanity. It isn't our job to get there for ourselves as if it's some sort of finish line. We are there growing in consciousness to light the way for others so that we all cross that line together. We all realize we already stand on that other shore together as one. So be at peace when your familial relationships appear to be falling apart, or your relationship with another appears to be dissolving. Being at peace will not change the outcome, but it will give you the point of view to see what's truly happening and see the gift in it for you. Nothing comes to an end by accident. Nobody cries out to you in your awareness by coincidence. You always have a choice. And that choice is only about you. Free the other in your life by truly loving them fully. If you free them and you love them fully, you will then see and know whether you too are free in their eyes and whether or not they love you fully. I love you fully, just as you are. I love you with the same love as Christ had for each and every one of us. Not a love of judgment, not a love of need for a return, but a love of the recognition of myself in you and you in me, of the Creator in all of us. Keep that in the mind next time you sit down at the dinner table and the trouble begins. You are looking at God looking back at you. Who do you choose to be in front of your Creator? Much love. Namaste. Have a wonderful, I give up. I think it's Monday night. We'll speak again very soon. All my love.